Hi everyone, so in this video I'm going to show you how to crochet these cute little baby T-bar shoes. So these shoes can be made in a number of different sizes, and for all of the information on how to make the different sizes, please see the description box below. So thank you very much for watching, and please make sure to subscribe to my channel for more crochet videos. So to begin our shoes, we're going to start off by making a slip knot. So to do a slip knot, take your yarn and take your finger and wrap the yarn around your finger once and then twice. Then take the first loop and pull it over the second loop, and then take the second loop and pull it all the way over your finger. You then want to take your crochet hook, go in through this space and pull tight. And there you have a slip knot. And now once you have your slip knot, we are now going to make our foundation chain. And for our foundation chain, we are going to chain 8. So you want to chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. And now we are ready to move on to round 1 of our shoes. So we are now on to round 1 of our baby shoes, and we're going to start off this round by working 3 double crochets into the second chain from the hook. So here is the first chain from the hook, and here is the second chain, and into this chain we're going to do 3 double crochets. So to do a double crochet, yarn over and go down into this chain, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through the final 2 loops on your hook. So there we have 1 double crochet into that chain. So now yarn over and go back down into the same chain again and do a second one in the exact same way. And then yarn over, go back down into the same chain and do a third double crochet. So there we have 3 double crochets all into that chain. And now we are going to do 1 double crochet into each of the next 5 chains. So yarn over and go into the next chain and do 1 double crochet. Then do the same thing into the next one, and the same into the third chain, and the fourth, and finally the fifth. So we have 5 double crochets, 1 into each chain, and you should find that you have 1 chain left at the very end here. And into this last chain we are going to do 6 double crochets. So 6 double crochets all worked into the last chain at the very end. So yarn over and go into the chain and do 1, then do a second double crochet and a third, and keep going until you have 6. So I have finished doing those 6 double crochets all into that last chain at the end. And now for the rest of round 1, we can begin working up along the opposite side of our foundation chain. So far we have done our slip knot, then our foundation chain up, then we did double crochets down, and when we did the 6 double crochets into this last chain at the end, we actually turned the corner, and now we can begin working up along the opposite side of our foundation chain. And we're going to start off by working 5 more double crochets, or 1 double crochet into each of the next 5 chains. So yarn over and go into this first chain here. So go into the opposite side of the foundation chain and do 1 double crochet, then do 1 into the next one, and keep going until you have 5. Like that. And now you should find that you have 1 chain left at the end here, and we are going to go into that last chain and do 3 double crochets. So yarn over, go into this chain and do 3 last double crochets. Like that. So there I have finished doing those 3 double crochets, and that is the same chain that we worked these 3 double crochets into at the very beginning of the round. So now you should have 6 double crochets all into this last chain at this end, just like we have 6 in the chain at the bottom. And now to finish off this round, we are going to do a slip stitch into the first double crochet that we worked. So here is the first double crochet, and if you're not sure which stitch to go into, then you can count back 22 stitches. So you would count back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way around to 22, and that will take you to the stitch that you need to do a slip stitch into, the first double crochet of the round. So insert your hook into this stitch and then yarn over and pull through both loops on your hook. And now we are ready to move on to round 2. So we are now on to round 2 of our baby shoes. And to begin this round, you want to chain 1, and this chain 1 does not count as a stitch. So now we're going to start off by working 2 double crochets into each of the first 3 stitches. So into this stitch, this one, and the next one, we're going to do 2 double crochets. So yarn over and go down into this very first stitch here. So this is a stitch that our chain 1 comes out of, and do 1 double crochet, and then yarn over and go back down into the same stitch again and do a second double crochet. And then you want to do the same thing into the next stitch, 2 double crochets, and then the same thing into the third stitch along. So there we have done 2 double crochets into each of the first 3 stitches, and now we are going to do 1 double crochet into each of the next 5 stitches. So go into the next stitch and do 1 double crochet, and do the same thing into the next one, and keep doing that until you have 5 double crochets, 1 into each stitch. Like that. And now we are going to do 2 double crochets into each of the next 6 stitches. So go into the next stitch and do 2 double crochets, and into the next one, and keep doing that until you have 6 sets. 6 sets of 2 double crochets. So there I have finished doing those 6 sets of 2 double crochets. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sets. And now we are going to do 1 double crochet into each of the next 5 stitches. So go into the next stitch and do 1 double crochet, and keep doing that until you have done it 5 times. Just like that. And now to finish off this round, you should find that you have 3 stitches left, and into each of these last 3 stitches we are going to do 2 double crochets. So do 2 double crochets into the first one, then the same into the next stitch, and then finally do 2 double crochets into this very last stitch, like that. And now to finish off round 2, we are going to do a slip stitch into the first double crochet that we worked. So here is the first double crochet, and insert your hook into this stitch, and if you're not sure which stitch to go into, then you can count back 34 stitches. So count back 34, and that will take you to the stitch that you need to do a slip stitch into. But go into the first double crochet and work a slip stitch. And there we have finished round 2, and we have finished the sole of our shoe. So now you want to fasten off. So pull your yarn out and your hook and cut your yarn, leaving a tail to weave in or work over later. And we're ready to move on to the upper part. So we're going to start off by working the back of our shoe, or the upper part of the back. So to start off, you want to take your sole here with the right side facing you, and you want to go to the middle, so where we just fastened off, and we're going to count back 7 stitches. So here is the middle, and you want to count back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And into this stitch, we're going to attach our new yarn. So take your crochet hook and go into this 7th stitch. But usually we would go through both loops of the stitch, so we would go through both the front and the back loop. But for this round, we are just going to be working into the back loops of each stitch. So you're going to go to this 7th stitch here and insert your hook into the stitch, but just go through the back loop. So the front loop is here and the back loop is here. So we have front loop, back loop, front loop, back loop. And you want to go into the back loop of this stitch. So just insert your hook into the back loop of this 7th stitch from the middle. And then take your new yarn, and you can use a new colour if you like. I'm going to go with a baby pink. Place it over the end of your crochet hook, pull it through, and then chain 1 to secure it. So chain 1, and there we have attached our new yarn into the back loop of that stitch. So I will just go over that again. Take your sole with the front facing upwards, so the front facing you. Go to the middle where you fastened off and count back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stitches, and then insert your hook into the back loop only of that 7th stitch. Pull your new yarn through and chain 1, and that will attach your new yarn to your work. And now we're ready to move on to round 1 of the back. So round 1 of the back is very simple. We are just going to do 14 half double crochets. So to do a half double crochet, yarn over and go down into the first stitch. So this is the stitch that we just attached our yarn into, but you want to go into this back loop only, yarn over and pull up a loop, and yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. So there we have done a half double crochet into the back loop of that stitch, and now yarn over and go into the next stitch and just go into the back loop only, so this loop at the back, and do 1 half double crochet, then do the same thing into the next stitch, 1 half double crochet into this one, do 1 half double crochet into the back loop of the next stitch, and keep doing this until you have 14 half double crochets. Finished working those 14 half double crochets, and this is what you should have, and you can see that by working into the back loops only we get this little ridge here, and the back of our shoe kind of comes away from the sole. So once you have done those stitches, 14 half double crochets, we're ready to move on to round 2 of the back. So to begin round 2, chain 1 and turn, and this chain 1 does not count as a stitch. So round 2 is very simple. We're just going to do 14 more half double crochets, or 1 half double crochet into each stitch back along. So yarn over and go down into this first stitch here, and we are going back to working through both the front and the back loop of each stitch now. So we are working as normal as we were before. So work 1 half double crochet into this stitch, then do 1 into the next stitch, and again we're going back through the front and back loop of each stitch, and do 1 into the next stitch, and keep doing this all the way along, and you should find that that is 14 again. So there, I have finished working that all the way along, and now we're ready to move on to round 3. So we are now on to round 3 of the back, and the next 2 rounds, so rounds 3 and 4, are very simple. We are just going to repeat round 2. So for round 3, you want to chain 1 and turn, and then we're going to do half double crochets all the way back up, and that should be 14, and then we're going to chain 1 and turn and do the same thing back up again for round 4. So we are doing 2 more rounds of plain half double crochet. So I'm going to do that all the way along for round 3, and then when I get to the end, repeat that 1 more time for round 4. So I have come to the end of round 4, and this is what you should have, and there we have finished the back of our shoe. So now you want to fasten off, so pull your yarn out and your hook and cut your yarn, leaving a tail to weave in later. And now we are ready to move on to the front part. So we are now on to the front of our shoe, and we're going to start off by attaching our yarn in the same way as we just did for the back. So you want to begin by taking your work like this, with the right side of the sole facing you. So this is the right side of the sole, and you want that to be facing you. And we're going to go here, so the very end of the back, and you can see this is the last stitch that the back is worked into, and we're going to count along 3 more stitches from that last stitch. So this is the last stitch that the back is worked into, so we're going to count 1, 2, 3, and into this third stitch we are going to attach our yarn. So go to the last stitch of the back and count along 1, 2, 3. Then insert your hook into this stitch, but just like with the back, we're only going to go into the back loop of this stitch. So just go into the back loop only, and then take your new yarn, place it over the end of your hook, pull it through and chain 1 to secure it. And there we have attached our yarn for the front, and we are ready to move on to round 1. So round 1 of the front is very simple. We're just going to do 16 half double crochets, working into the back loop of each stitch only. So we're doing 16 half double crochets into the back loops. So yarn over and go down into this stitch here that we just attached our yarn into, and do 1 half double crochet, then do 1 half double crochet into the back loop of this next stitch, and do 1 into the back loop of the next stitch, and keep going until you have 16. And make sure that you're just going into the back loop. So here is the front loop, here's the back loop, front, back, and just go into the back loop only, and that will kind of bring the front away from the sole. So there I have finished doing those half double crochets, and you should find that you have 2 stitches left at the end here that you are not working into. And there we have finished round 1 of the front, and you can see we get this little ridge again. And now we're ready to move on to round 2. So to begin round 2, you want to chain 1 and turn, and this chain 1 does not count as a stitch. So now in this round we are going to start using a stitch called 2 double crochets together. And when we do 2 double crochets together, we do 2 double crochets, 1 into each stitch, but we are not going to complete either of them, and then we're going to complete them both together at the same time. So we are effectively turning 2 stitches into 1. So we're going to start off by working our very first set of 2 double crochets together. So to do that, you want to yarn over and go down into this first stitch here, yarn over and pull up a loop, and yarn over and pull through 2 loops. But usually to finish a double crochet, we would yarn over and pull through these final 2 loops on our hook. But we are not going to do that. We're going to stop here and leave this double crochet incomplete and move on to the second one. So yarn over and go down into the next stitch, pull up a loop, and yarn over and pull through 2 loops. But usually we would yarn over and pull through 2 more loops to complete the double crochet, but we're not going to do that. We're going to leave this second double crochet incomplete as well, and you should now have 3 loops on your hook, and you want to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops to complete the stitch. And there we have done 2 double crochets together and turned 2 stitches into 1. And for round 2, we're going to do 8 sets of 2 double crochets together. So there we have done 1 set, so we need to do 7 more to complete the round. So we're going to move on to our second set. So yarn over, go into the next stitch, and work an incomplete double crochet. So stop here right before the last step and move on to the next one. yarn over, go into the next stitch and start working a double crochet, but stop here when you have 3 loops on your hook and yarn over and pull through all 3. So there we have done our second set of 2 double crochets together, and just keep doing that until you have 8 sets. So I have just finished doing those sets, and I have done 8 in total and come to the very end of round 2. And now we're ready to move on to round 3. So to begin round 3, chain 1 and turn, and this never counts as a stitch. So now round 3 is very similar to round 2, but last round we did 8 sets of 2 double crochets together, and in this round we're just going to do 4 sets. So work your very first set here, like that, then do the second set, and keep going until you have 4. Like that. So there we have finished round 3, and we're ready to move on to round 4. So to begin round 4, you want to chain 1 and turn. And round 4 is very similar, but in this round we're just going to do 2 sets. So 2 sets of 2 double crochets together. So do the first set. And then finally the second set. Like that. And there we have finished round 4. And you can see we are getting the closing up here of the front. So we are now on to round 5 of the front part of our shoes. And to begin this round, you want to chain 1 and turn. And now round 5 is very simple. We're just going to do 2 double crochets. So do 1 double crochet into this first stitch, and then do a second one. And this is going to form the strap to form the little T-bar. This is going to make the strap. So there we have finished round 5, and now for the next 4 rounds we're going to do the exact same thing. So for rounds 6, 7, 8 and 9, you just want to do the same thing as round 5. Chain 1 and turn, and then do 2 double crochets. So I'm going to do round 6, then round 7, and keep doing this until you do round 9. I have finished doing that, so I have come to the end of round 9. So you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 rounds in total for the front. And if you wanted a longer strap, then you could do more rounds, or if you wanted it to be shorter, then just take a few off. And then once you have done that, we can now fasten off. So pull your yarn out and your hook and cut your yarn. And when you cut your yarn, you want to leave a pretty long tail, as we're going to use this tail to sew up our strap and make the little loop. So once you have done that, you now want to take a yarn needle, so one like this, and take your strap, and we're going to thread our end through the needle. So thread the end through the needle, And then we are going to fold our yarn over. And before you do that, you do need to make sure that your shoes are not inside out. I just realized mine were inside out. So make sure that they're the right way round with this little brown ridge here. So make sure they're the right way round. Then take your end and thread it through a yarn needle. And then we're going to fold our strap over, and you can fold it over as much as you like. You could go right down to the base, but I'm just going to fold it over, say down to this third row here. And then you just want to sew up your strap. So kind of sew it together so that you have this little loop that you can pass a ribbon or a string through. So I'm going to fold it over and go in with my needle through one of the stitches and pull my end through. Then I'm going to go back down and through both sides and keep doing this to sew it up. So now once you have finished making this part of the shoe and you have flipped it over and sewn it up to create a little loop, you can now either take a ribbon and weave it in and out of the top of the back of the shoe, then go through the loop and tie a little bow. That is a really easy way to do it, to finish off the shoe. Or you could do what I did and create a little strap which goes from the edge of the back of the shoe around in through the loop and then to the other side, and then you can do a little button loop and attach a button to do it up. So if you wanted to do the strap like this, right at the end of your shoe, attach your yarn into the corner, chain 16, then do a single crochet into the 6th chain from the hook, and then do single crochets all the way back down your chain, finishing off with a slip stitch into the side of the back. Then put that through the middle and attach a button on the other side. And that is how you do this little strap like this. And you want to do the straps on opposite sides so that they come from the center, and then the buttons are on the outside of each shoe on opposite sides. And then once you have done that, you want to go ahead and weave all of your ends into the inside of your shoe, so into the bottom and the back and into the inside, and then we will have finished. So that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it easy to follow. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel for more crochet videos, and in the description box below this video I will leave a link to my Twitter account. So if you would like to go and follow me on there, I always like to post updates and pictures of upcoming tutorials, and I would love to see photos of your crochet work on Twitter as well. And in the description box I will also leave a link to where you can find some of my written patterns if you are interested. And thank you again for watching. Bye!